thus reflecting the transformative nature not only of SALA but the country's literary community as well. Joining me now in studio is Mangaliso, Buzani and Charl-Pierre Naude, two of the contenders for this year's Poetry Award. Gentlemen, thank you very much for making the time. I know it's been a hectic event last night, and then to still be here this morning, I really do appreciate it. Charl, let's maybe talk to you about just kind of poetry and awards of this nature, because when poets sit down and when you're writing pen to paper, you're commenting on a position, awards is probably the furthest thing from your mind.
Yes, of course. It's the furthest thing of from your mind, yeah. But awards are important still, in a sense. You know, they bring together practitioners of an art which actually essentially takes place in isolation. You know, it's not like musicians who perform together and you see them every now and then when you do your work. Writers, the writer craft is a solitary craft. So when you come together on a night of awards, it's special. You sometimes see writers that you've read for the very first time, and it has the function. It has it gives cohesion and a feeling of belonging to writers. It's a good activity. It's a good thing to do, the whole awards thing.
He says modestly. Mangaliso, this idea that we are finally talking, and let's not only talk about the awards, but there was a huge conference the day before, and they were talking about the African voice, and they're talking about the African identity within that global context. And as somebody who's been lauded with saving the Xhosa language in terms of how do these awards tie into making sure that, yes, we recognize people, but that people can make a credible living, that people can be successfully, financially successful, writing, putting pen to paper? How do we make sure that all of this translates into that success?
No, it was a wonderful feeling for me to be awarded at the SALA Awards because those are the languages that are marginalized.
Yeah.
You see that when you come to the university, that you will be seen as an outcast because you are speaking isiXhosa. So I mean, I was uplifted a bit to be awarded the award.
Your collection of poetry and the kind of the work that's put together over the just so many years of putting these things together, where do we move this conversation now? Because I think, and I spoke to, I think, the keynote speaker last night as well, Professor Mugu, and there is this idea that it has to constantly move forward.
Are you referring to literature and poetry?
Just in terms of literature, poetry, but also making sure that we're progressively always moving forward, that we're constantly changing the narrative to suit whatever the topic is that's topical at the moment.
You know, I think that at its very core, one cannot predict where literature is going to go, because it has a way of going to places before the conscious mind goes there, you know, and I don't think one should try and push it in a particular direction.
Coming from you,
I think people, they must just continue writing and reading. Hey, I think that's
because we need that end user, don't we? Then we need the starting point. We need you, and then we need somebody to be able to pick it up and buy it.
Of course, yeah.
Let's quickly, I just want to touch on the awards again last night. I mean, these awards have been around for 10 years now. It's been celebrated for a decade.
Yeah.
Just from that perspective, the role that awards now play in growing this industry and growing the sector and opening it up to new young writers. Sure.
I think it has a very practical and uplifting function. Awards, you know, writers have a way of always, you know, of dismissing it, you know. But writing is also an industry.
It is.
It is maybe a very manual industry, but it's an industry nevertheless. And these functions, it's part of the industry part of our living, and I think it's wonderful that they are there, and that there is some money that goes towards these things. Yeah.
And the government plays that role.
Exactly.
Gentlemen, we run out of time, but congratulations on both your awards. We're talking to, of course, to the two contenders for the Poetry Award at the South African Literary Awards, which were held last night, speaking to us about the work and what the awards mean in this greater sense as we drive the African economy. Okay. Or I should say, as we drive the African agenda, and that's a very important discussion. Let us know what you think. It's Morning Live at sabc.co.za. Okay, now let's give you a breaking news story. Sihle Zikalala has been elected the ANC KZN chair. He challenged Senzo Mchunu, the party's three-day provincial elective conference held